Okay, let's see. Do we have it? We are good. Cool. We are live. Let's see if people roll in. Okay, good. We are diving in. We are jumping on. Welcome to the show. Let get everybody on here. Okay, good. People are rolling in. Hello, Michigan. Hello, Jersey, Indiana, Minnesota. Let's see. Everyone was worried. I'm running a couple minutes behind because we were running late all night tonight, even from the office. And then I forgot some equipment. And then my wife went on late. She wanted to be on earlier, so I'm running a little late. So no big deal. We'll be back to normal. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I've been there. It's beautiful. Virginia, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Is that correct? Cool. New York. Excellent. Yes, not New York City. New York State is very different than New York City. Absolutely. Okay, good. Everyone's rolling on. So we're going to keep it really simple tonight, okay? I'm going to give you some information, and we're going to dive into some headlines and some other interesting stuff. First of all, just so everyone knows, not next week, the week after, I am in touch with a cryptocurrency expert. Knows his stuff. Actually, a friend of mine reached out, gave me the contact information, so I'm going to be in touch with him. I think it's 2 Mondays from now. I believe that's what it is. I'll confirm that. We'll do a little promo so you know it's coming. So, yes, crypto information is coming. We're going to do the basics 101 of crypto, and we might dive into some other deeper stuff. So today, I've been diving into crypto a lot lately, watching a lot of crypto information, YouTube, podcasts, etc. So, some of the basics I'm going to tell you. Obviously, the coins that we look at now, they're not physical coins, they're digital coins. So, it is a fiat currency, meaning it's not a real currency. It's created, it's made up, obviously, just like the Federal Reserve note. But I'm going to be going over Bitcoin, some Ethereum, XRP, etc. Now, why am I going over this? So a lot of people are very concerned that speaking about Bitcoin and about cryptocurrencies. This is why. If you didn't know this, we are going to digital currencies. I've talked about this, okay? Now, I'm not selling out for anything. I've had that comment before. I'm not selling out. I understand that I've been watching this for years, okay? Now, I'm not looking for a digital dollar that is or digital wallet controlled by the government. That's an entirely different story. That's not the same thing as crypto. Crypto is a whole thing that's coming up. It's going to be going through live. If you don't think it's going to be going live, it is. Just know it is. There's no way around it. And as I always tell everybody, unless you are going to live in the middle of the woods in nowhere country, then you have to be part of this matrix or part of this system. Now, hopefully, we destroyed the other part of it, and we just have a really good sound money supply. And if we have a paper money as well as a crypto backed by gold and silver, I'll be happy. That's good. But either way, it's coming. So I actually bought a Ledger S wallet today, which is a digital wallet. A lot of you aren't going to necessarily understand what that means right now, but we're going to go over all that information. So it's coming. So be ready for that really cool information coming on crypto. I promised we'd get that to you. We will get that to you. And again, follow people online that are doing that, who are experts and know what they're doing. Okay, that goes along a little bit with what the president tweeted today, which was negative interest rates. Now, there's also a thing called no interest banking. I have not gone down this road or time to research this, but I will tell you, it's actually not only biblical, but it's part of the Quran as well. Now, I don't know the in-depth details of this. I've not researched this fully yet. I'm going down this rabbit hole. But in both spiritual books, right? Because even if you don't necessarily agree with the Quran, it's still a spiritual book to another group of people. But they talk about no usury, okay? So no interest. So not only negative interest rates, but no interest banking could be coming. What does that mean? That means you might get a fee for taking out money, but one of the things people don't realize is when you go to the bank and you take out a loan, now there's more fair interest rates, but then there's also gouging people, okay, like loan sharks. So if you've ever, down here in Florida, I don't know where they are throughout the country, but down here in Florida, we have, I think they're called AMSCOT, I believe they're called. Basically, you'd be driving down the road. Obviously, there are in certain parts of the areas of town and cities where it's, as they say, less privileged or more inner city. And they might see like a blue or yellow building down here. That's the colors of AMSCOT down here. And what they do is you can go in, you can cash your paycheck if you get a weekly paycheck. And I've never been in one, but if you cash your paycheck, they'll give you money right up front, or they'll actually loan you money before your paycheck comes in, but they'll charge you an insane amount of interest. And it's actually, I mean, it's really quite criminal, quite honestly. Why do they get away with it? Because there's a market for it, and that's what they'll do. But it is criminal. I don't know what they charge, but I've heard as high as 20+% just to get your own money from your paycheck. It's for people who obviously are not saving, spending money as they go. They're barely in survival, and if they have a car breakdown or whatever it might be, they're getting money ahead of time because they might need that or whatever it is, okay? Now, that's loan shark world. That's really bad, okay? But then you have other ones where you go to your bank and you get a 4% or a 6% interest or whatever it may be on like a mortgage or a car loan, whatever. Now, over a period of time, with the amount of money you take out, whether it's a car loan or an equipment loan or a small loan or a big mortgage or a commercial mortgage, over a period of time, you're going to spend a lot of money in interest, to the point it's technically criminal because the one who's running that show are the Federal Reserve bankers. All right. Now, that is a criminal organization. One of the big things is about student loans. So here's an interesting fact for you. My wife and I have student loans. Now, we're both doctors. And so with the doctor loan or with the doctor degree comes a large amount of money on that. Okay. So with that, my wife is handing me I have no sound.
You have mono sound, they said.
Oh, well, it's working on my end. So I'm checking my sound. It is good on my end. If anyone's having a problem with sound, let me know. My end says it's working. Let me fix this real quick. There's no sound at all. Hold on a second. I'm all plugged in. I'm good. You're good. So some of you have sound, some of you don't. It is all good on my end. My meters are good. Sorry I stepped off, but I want to make sure you guys get information here because this is obviously very important. Everyone's saying I sound great. If you don't have sound, I will tell you this, guys, and I'm glad this came up. I'm glad it's a little glitch, okay? I'm not a major news network. I don't have the billions of dollars people producing this for me. I'm producing it all right here. However, I will tell you, I'm going to intercept what I was talking about for a second, and then I'll get back to it, okay? The social media channels, guys, are going to be going down. I talked to 3 people today regarding this, and right now I am streaming live to Facebook, I am streaming live to YouTube, and I am streaming live to looks like Periscope, okay? So I have a couple live streams going. So my page, YouTube, Periscope, and I think I actually have 4 going. As I do this, 2 things happen. One, I'm pushing out a lot of bandwidth, but the other one is, because it's all good on my end, is we are getting crunched by social media, okay? We're getting crunched by social media. This is why I put out a post today. I am having a network built behind the scenes. I'm talking to 2 people about it for the technical aspect, and we're going to get an actual channel built, meaning in the future, and I'm going to hopefully get this as fast as possible, you are not necessarily going to be coming to social media. Now, I will continue publicizing and broadcasting on social media, but you will actually be going to my website to get the direct feeds when I go live. So I am building literally like the CNN or the Fox News, obviously not the way they do things, but I'm going to be building a website that actually has that information. A lot of people are saying like Twitch and BitChute. I'm telling you right now, they have the ability to crash any of those forms. Therefore, I am going to be doing the investing into this piece to bring you guys this continuously as much as possible, and I will not be dependent upon Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, etc. So we are going to be going on to a website where, yes, I will continue, again, publishing to the social medias until they go down. But when that goes down, you're going to be going to the website to get your live feeds. Just want you to know that. Very, very similar like London Real, okay? That's what's going to happen because things like this occur. Some people have audio, some people don't. So it could be a combination of things. So we'll keep going, okay? I hope that helps. Okay, student loans. This is where I was. So we have 2 doctor student loans in this house. They're not cheap, okay? We're talking $100,000 plus each. All right, now my wife got one when it was still under private organization, where you get about 2% interest. So 2% interest on say $100,000 to $150,000, it's still enough. It's a lot, but it's not as bad. Versus when I had federal loans, there was sometimes 6+% on $150,000. Right now, that $150,000 turns into $300,000+ if it doesn't get consolidated. Okay, that is called loan sharking. Okay, that is completely insane. It's criminal, and that's what's happening. So when we talk about no interest banking, we talk about negative interest rates. What would actually do is it could turn around to where you might get a fee for the loan, but then the bank might actually pay you to take money out. Okay, it's a little deeper than that, but that's all I want to go into right now. We'll bring you into more when we go through crypto and some of the finance stuff. I'll work on finance as well, okay? Getting people in here for finance, because this is all going to be very, very important for you guys, okay? So I hope that helps. Got it? We're going to do crypto, negative interest rates, no interest banking. But if you go to the Middle East, there's still countries in the Middle East, at least there was until we took them over, where they did not charge interest to their citizens until central banks, Federal Reserve, came in and destroyed all that. Now, did any of you guys see Rand Paul today questioning Dr. Fauci? Now, first of all, I want to tell you how insane it is that the Senate hearings are taking place in this random room. I didn't think it was in the Senate hall that they normally do. And then Fauci is at home in his home office. This is unheard of, the fact that Dr. Fauci didn't have to come in front of a Senate hearing. Now, one of the reasons I think that's insane is, one, obviously this is stupid, and he's like half quarantined or whatever it is, and they don't want to be next to each other in case something's going on. They're social distancing. It's completely ludicrous. And Rand Paul's a doctor, by the way. Rand Paul knows full well exactly how some of this stuff works. And I will tell you, I don't love the fact that he got to actually testify from home. Why? Because I believe that there's a pressure to tell the truth and a pressure on you when you're sitting in an actual Senate hearing inside the halls of Congress, and you have that pressure to have to tell the truth versus being at home. I mean, I don't know how much truth he's actually telling, but I don't know how much. He didn't look like he was that stressed, okay? I would rather the stress be on him in the middle of an actual Senate hearing, right? And some people say he faked it. Absolutely possible that he needed to go in quarantine before he testified in front of the Senate, which is ridiculous, because even when he's out of quarantine, I think they should bring him back in and re-question him, because can you imagine the intensity of sitting in the halls of Congress under oath, 2 senators of the United States Congress, and having to tell the truth? Like, it could have been so much harder on him. But anyway, Rand Paul said several things. There's about a 6 to 8 minute clip out there of him talking today, and he was fantastic. Now, I wish I went after him harder, but he said, we need to open the schools. This is not affecting kids. And then he said, basically, every single time you came out and said something that was going to happen, you were wrong. So you're wrong here, you're wrong here, you're wrong here, you're wrong here. You are not the end person to always make a decision. It's essentially paraphrasing, but that's what he said. And called him on his BS. And he called him on his BS so well at the end that Dr. Fauci asked if he could use his last 30 or 32 seconds to keep talking because he wanted to respond. Like, Dr. Fauci knows he's wrong because he always has to get the last word in, and that's exactly what went down. So just know that he is being tracked. We know that he is not in good shape. We know that people are on to him, and his day is coming. Trust me. Dr. Fauci's day is definitely coming. Okay, now I want to tell you guys a little bit something that I learned today that I wasn't fully aware of and is definitely not being published in the media or the news. And that is regarding a country called Taiwan. I believe it's an island. Now, here's something interesting. They are basically second in the world with cases, or they should be second in the world with cases based on their population. Okay, it's almost insane when you hear the statistics for Taiwan. They had no COVID essentially. They had no lockdown. They had no World Health Organization overlooking them. They are, I believe, 80 miles or something like that it was from China. They are transporting back and forth between China for business all the time. They're the 21st largest economy on the face of the planet. Their businesses all stayed open. And here are their stats. They had 400 cases and 6 deaths. So I think they have 24 million people on their island. And so wait, 24 million people on their island, 21st largest economy in the world, and they didn't have a lockdown. They don't have the World Health Organization looking over them. They're transporting back and forth from China where their businesses are, and they had 400 total cases and 6 deaths, and they had no lockdown or quarantine. So, I wonder why. Maybe because the World Health Organization doesn't overlook them. I'm assuming in Taiwan they probably eat healthier than normal because they are an island nation, and in general the Asian countries have a little better diet from their ancestry. But Taiwan did not shut down, and they did not have the cases. And keep in mind, like, everyone's worried because of China and how close they are. They're like 80 or 800 miles, I think I read, from China, and they would have direct contact with them, and yet 6 deaths and 400 cases. I don't know how many tested positive for, or if they did test positive, but that goes to tell you that this is a load of crap, and this is a completely geopolitical move. I don't know how many people are waking up to this honestly out there, but when you literally go and look and go research the Taiwan stats of COVID, how they handled it, and how they're coming out of it, because they never had anything. They didn't lock down. I mean, imagine that. Their businesses stayed open, and they actually gained natural herd immunity if they were around it. So, completely different world, completely amazing. On top of that, there was an article that ran today, I believe. Let me double check. I believe it ran at RT.com today, if I'm correct, where Bill Gates was interviewed. Of course, again, Bill Gates is like the darling of the media right now. He is allowed to talk whenever he wants to. Not bad for someone who is a dropout, has no real degree that I know of, has no doctorate behind him, is not a scientist. Now, I will say this about Bill Gates, and some people get mad at me. It's okay. I don't believe you have to be a doctor, and I don't believe you have to be a college-educated person or even a high school-educated person to gain knowledge. So, Bill Gates reads a lot of books. I think it's been told that he reads like a book a day or a book every 2 days. So when everyone says, he's not a doctor, he's not a scientist, that's true. Now, But you don't have to be educated necessarily in the academic system to learn something. So, does Bill Gates know about viruses? Absolutely. I know he's read about them. I know he knows about how it works. I know he is smarter than the average person from a standpoint of just intellect. At the end of the day, if you're reading a book a day or a book every day and a half or 2 days, you're going to gain knowledge and you're going to be able to apply that knowledge. You can take any subject out there right now that you might want to learn about that you have no knowledge base in it. And if you started studying that for a year or 2 years on your own, just reading books off a bookshelf, you're going to also become an expert in that area. So it's not to say that Bill Gates can't become an expert. I do want to get away from the fact that what they always say, well, he is not a doctor, he's not a scientist, what would he know, why would he have any opinion? Because he can be knowledgeable. However, I will tell you, he's knowledgeable about how these work for a purpose he's trying to carry out, which is depopulation amongst many other things. So I'm not letting him off the hook. I'm just saying, yes, he is educated. He is knowledgeable. He doesn't need a college degree to be that. But he was interviewed in this article, and he basically said he regrets. It was an article about Bill Gates' regrets. And he regrets, and I can't find the article now, but he regrets that he didn't do enough faster. Because he said the biggest problem they're dealing with right now is that he's getting phone calls daily because they're running out of glass vials, they're running out of needles and syringes for 7 billion vaccines. That's what he was saying. His biggest regret is that he did not sound the alarm early or fast enough for the population to be ready for this outbreak. So they are setting him up, the media, the deep state media is setting him up to be the hero of the day for the world. The funny part is he's still getting bashed on social media. He's getting slammed. And there's other articles running how all the conspiracy theorists are against him. This is the beautiful part, you guys. This is how great of a job you're doing out there. The more you watch these, the more you learn about this, the more you post on all the social media sites, they are pushing more and more articles about how we are conspiracy theorists. And did you ever think that 2 months ago you would have been called a conspiracy theory on May 12th, 2020, because you have woken up to see what is happening in the world? But Bill Gates says that he is bummed out because he didn't act fast enough to push out his 7 billion vaccines. And I believe they're talking about anywhere from 5 to 10 or 15 different vaccines for this whole situation. So I know a lot of people out there who I'm following who aren't even necessarily you folks, who I'm following for information and research and everything else, who have said, I mean, we're even at the point where Michelle Malkin is stepping out. Michelle Malkin, who was former creator and founder of HotAir.com, which was a conservative media outlet. And she is now doing interviews talking about how she will not take a vaccine from Bill Gates. You have Candace Owens, who is probably one of the hottest conservative, not hottest from looks, hottest from statistics and how great she's doing out there. But she is amazing in the conservative world right now. And also, by the way, she's waking up the entire black community on how they've been hoodwinked for decades by the deep state party. And she's going in and educating inner cities. She's educating, just tremendous amounts of people to wake them up to see. And on top of that, we know at this point that Gates, Fauci, and crew have built vaccines in the past based on HIV/AIDS to go after the black population because they know that DNA is very important. There's something in that DNA they want, they're going after, but they also are trying to take out that entire population. I know that's very scary to think about, and it's not a pleasant thing to look at and confront, but that's exactly what they're doing. And so we, as humans, right, because we love our human race, unlike those dark people, we have to support anybody. Doesn't matter what their color is, doesn't matter what their religion is, doesn't matter what their race is, doesn't matter where they come from, what language they speak. Okay, we don't want to be a globalist community of a new world order, but we do want to support every human being in the fact that they are equal human life and that they deserve a chance at life, and they should have nobody trying to poison them or depopulate them, nor should anybody going into their country. We have to go after that. Now, the other part of this funny, hilarious, at this point, it's completely ludicrous COVID-19. I almost posted today, again, does everyone know this isn't about a virus anymore? Because we are getting into insane stuff. We're going to talk about something last that I want you guys to be very aware of. But if Q actually dropped, let me look right now live on air just to see if Q has dropped anything recently since we went on. No, it's the same as usual. But earlier in post 4222, if you go to qmap.pub, it says when the cameras are off, so are the masks. So if you didn't know this, there was a post today where at the press conference for the president's press conferences, when they're doing the presser, the journalists are taking the masks off when the camera's not on. Okay? They're taking the masks off. Now, when the cameras go on, they're all wearing their masks. If you didn't know at this point, the news is pushing a narrative. So a long time ago, I said, hey, they're creating a story. That's what they're doing. You're being told a story. You've been told a story for a long period of time, and they've been holding stuff back from you, but they're telling a story. And these journalists know when the cameras go on and when the cameras go off, because right now, they're most of them, their job is to go there and to harass the President of the United States for as long as he's on, or harass now the press secretary, and that's ultimately their job. So they know, they hear from their executives, they know what they need for talking points. That's what they're looking for, and then they go create that article or whatever it may be, okay? So they are creating a drama for you on television by putting their masks on, or putting the mask on when the camera's on, taking the mask off when the camera's off. So keep an eye on that stuff, because these guys, they're way over the line. It's going to be a problem. Now, with the news in the last week, obviously we've been on Obamagate. So did you know Obamagate was still trending on Twitter? Yeah, that's how big this is. Now, a lot of people are going to start going down. I need one of my cough drops. They're going to start going down this road of Obama. Now, I want you to keep in mind and keep perspective that, yes, we need to go after them, but what really is going on is this is more of the entire deep state. So a lot of people are saying, well, but what about the deeper stuff? What about the deeper stuff? What about the Pizzagate? What about the adrenochrome? What about everything? Yes, that is very true. We must keep our eye on the prize, which is taking down this entire system. It's essentially a Babylonian system. You can go look that up as well. Okay? Now, what I need you to do is I need you to focus on the fact that whenever you have a big ball of yarn or ball of string or big puzzle or whatever it is, the web that is weaved about all how this has happened over thousands of years or longer, all right? You have to start with one string. You pull the string, and as you pull that string, this whole wad starts actually coming apart, and you get down to the core of where it was. They're going to start pulling the Obama string, all right? Now, is he the central part of it? No, he's the central part of it for his administration, but he is not the central part of the whole thing. However, once you go after Obama and you take him down potentially, which obviously we all want that to happen. Do I know how it's going to happen? No, I don't know. Is it going to be one day we wake up and he's arrested? Probably not. I don't think it'll go down that way. But he is tied to everything. If you didn't know, there's a meme going around that at 1 o'clock in the morning in the White House, President Obama is ordering $65,000 worth of quote-unquote hot dogs and having them delivered overnight, that night, to the White House. So we know that he is most likely involved with quote-unquote the Pizzagate scandal and all that different stuff. He's also, and I have to bring this up again because I'm sure you guys are all seeing this, it is very possible that his wife is not actually his wife, and a lot of people are like, oh, good out. Like, do you have any proof? Do you have any proof? Again, I don't have source proof because no one does. I mean, it's not like he or she's going to come out and say, oh my gosh, I'm a trainee the whole time. It's not like that, right? However, the proof is starting to come out that there is definitely something up with that. And if you didn't know, the president had tweeted about that a long time ago. The president tweeted in like 2012 about how President Obama wasn't even a U.S. citizen, and he wasn't eligible to be president because of his birth certificate, which turns out to be a fake and photoshopped, even though they're sticking to it. The president tweeted all this stuff a long time ago. So as you pull this string, okay, what if you find out that the president was involved with Pizzagate, which is also tied to Hillary? So you guys are worried about Hillary not going down? She's directly tied to him. Okay, now I think she's higher up than him. I could be wrong, but she's still tied to him. What if you take down Michelle/Michael, whatever he or she is? Okay. And honestly, they would have been so much better off if Michelle is indeed a man. They would have been so much better off if they had just said he's the first black president and he's the first gay president. And honestly, less people would have cared than if they blow this thing up and people find out that Michelle is not a female. If that is truly the case, which I do not know, I'm only speculating on this. We would have been better off as a nation if he had just admitted he was gay and he had a man for a husband and being the first black president than what we're in right now. Because if this blows up, this takes down everything. So now you have Hillary caught, you have the Clintons caught, you have the DNC caught. You then go deeper, you have the Podestas of the world caught, and this isn't going to just be a Democratic issue. The deep state is not just Democrats, okay? So I might hammer on liberals all the time because I'm not liberal-minded, but it's not just liberals, okay? This is going after everybody. It's the Democrats in the deep state, as well as there's Republicans, or they sometimes call them rhinos, things like that. No, it's a two-party system, which is a joke. That's probably one of the reasons President Trump got in as well as he did, is because President Trump has his liberal social values and he also has his conservative values, okay? So he really could be either way, because it sounds like he takes a topic, looks at it, does it make common sense? Is it something you would apply? Because ultimately at the end of the day, I don't want to be labeled a Republican or a conservative, libertarian or constitutionalist. You may not want to be labeled as a Democrat or a liberal or anything like that, because the system is garbage. It needs to be thrown out. But as you pull this string, okay, it's going to go through everything. You're going to pull the whole big ball of like wound yarn all apart. And you might actually go to the source. And trust me, if you look at Bina, Red Pill Bina on Twitter, he has, and I'm not saying I agree with this or not, okay? He has President Obama as the Antichrist. And when you go through his videos, he makes a pretty good argument for it. Do I agree? I don't know if I agree. I could see what he's saying. I have not come to my own conclusion on it because I haven't seen enough information to pick that out. But he makes some compelling evidence to it. So could you unwind this all the way down to the original source and core? And by the way, the source and core of this is not the bankers and the Rothschilds. This is regarded, now that's obviously a problem and we have to handle that, and that goes very far back. The core and source of this is far deeper, far darker, and will rattle people's lives when they find out, because this is where you get into the actual Vatican. And I'm not talking about the above ground Vatican. I'm talking about below ground Vatican. I have shown you, and I don't know where it is right now. Let's see. Can I find it really quickly? I cannot find it really quickly. I have shown you the book by Jim Marrs, Occult History. If you have not read that book, get your hands on that book, because he starts taking you to the source of where this all may begin, okay? Because this is not, again, just a political thing. This goes far, far deeper. So be aware of that, all right? Yeah, so when it comes to political parties, you have to register to vote for it, obviously, but you don't, I'm a conservative, libertarian, constitutional mind, right? But I also have my values from a social standpoint of, not liberal, but like, for example, if I'm a libertarian-minded individual, like, there's actually a lot of drugs that I would wish they would just legalize across the board. Not because I want people to take drugs, but because I'm a believer in the fact that if you tell people they can't have something, they will actually go after it more. Versus if you just legalize it across the board, you're going to have a much better time handling it. It's going to be less of a problem, etc. Okay? At the end of the day, I don't care if someone is gay. That's entirely up to them. And now I may not agree with it as my lifestyle or a lifestyle, but if that's what they want to do, obviously I'm a libertarian from that mindset, from the standpoint of if you don't hurt me and you don't hurt another person in society, there's certain things you're free to do in your own home, okay? But just do not put it on other people. Do not hurt somebody. Then we have an actual problem, okay? Hope that makes sense. But as you pull this string back, you're going to go very deep into how this actually all works. So it's not because they're just going after Obama and they're leaving Hillary alone or leaving the DNC alone or anything like that. All right? They're going after the fact that this goes very deep, but he's the first person that they'll probably go after. That would be my assumption, okay? That's just my assumption. Now, I want to wind down with this tonight, and this is not a wind down at all. This is actually me getting a little bit probably wound up. The news broke today that we had some problems in Los Angeles County. Okay, how many people out there are Los Angeles County or near Los Angeles County who could be affected by the upcoming insane news that you are going to be in lockdown for another 3 months? Okay, Los Angeles County, and now I do not know California that well. I've only been there a couple times. I do not know where Los Angeles County goes to and how much it takes up, etc. I have not looked at the map. I have a lot of friends out in that area, not necessarily, I don't know if they're in LA County, but people in outlying areas. First of all, what data or scientific information does Los Angeles County have to support a 3-month continuous lockdown? Because I don't know why aren't other states doing it? Why is this a California problem? Why is this a freaking Los Angeles problem? And let me tell you, I've flown into Los Angeles. I've been there 2 or 3 times. It's a beautiful area. Too much smog, too much pollution. But it's beautiful out there. Such craziness with it. Now, that's because Newsom is freaking Pelosi's nephew or whatever. The whole place is a joke. But California is so beautiful. I wish you guys could get control of this place. Get your politicians thrown out, because California has such potential. And all your rich people are leaving, by the way. Just so you know, your wealthy people are leaving. The state will go bankrupt, okay? Dr. Fauci is apparently their authority. He is the one making and calling the shots out there. Now, I did read earlier on Twitter from a Mark Taylor. His handle on Twitter is @Patton6966, @PATTON 6966. You can go check out what he wrote. He said he believes that California has gone red. Now, what does that mean when I say California's gone red? It means red state, blue state. So right now we have an electoral college, which is how it should be. So when we vote, it is not a popular vote that wins the election. We have a popular vote, but the electoral college picks the winner, which is how it should be. The reason why that is because the cities are very densely populated, and they're typically more Democratic or liberal, depending on the era of time you're in. And the more rural areas are more red or conservative. But the densely populated cities would win the vote every time. And to even that across the board on the entire map, the Electoral College is put into place so that it's an actual fair vote. It's an equal type of vote because the state get delegates, okay? We can go into that at a different time. But California for the longest time has been blue. Now, I believe, I'm going off the top of my head here, so if I'm wrong, you can call me on it. I'll have to go look it up. I don't believe California has been red since maybe Reagan. Again, that's just off the top of my head. I don't know for sure. But California went very blue, very Democratic. That's why you have a lot of the draconian laws you have, because they're just completely over the top. Also, California is completely bankrupt. They have no money. I mean, they have money, but they spend all of it, and they're way in debt. But Mark Taylor on Twitter was actually saying that it's very possible that behind the scenes, people aren't talking about it, but they're ready to vote red in November and actually flip California from a blue state to a red state. Now, does it absolutely occur? I don't know. That's obviously an opinion. But let me dive into what is probably actually going on here. Now, hopefully there are far more people who are going to be ready to vote conservative, because quite honestly, you need some conservative minds in there, because between your vaccination garbage laws that you're putting in, you basically need someone to come and clean house in California, because they're a train wreck. And I feel bad saying that, because I have a bunch of friends out there who are phenomenal people. I don't want to see you guys suffer out there. At this point in LA, if they continue this, which could the president come in and do something? Possibly. I'm going to go into that in a second. But my concern is not so much for people being in their houses for 3 months, which is insane in itself. My concern is you're going to destroy a large percentage, probably at least 50% of businesses in Los Angeles County and surrounding areas because of this. And quite honestly, with Newsom in control and Pelosi pulling the strings, even though she is only a representative for a small area in San Francisco, she's pulling strings at a very high level, not only California, but in the country. And they want California to go completely socialist. And by the way, just so you know, as a constitutionalist and a libertarian, I tend to throw the word communism around quite a bit. And I'll say like communist California. Now, people will go, we're not going to go communist. That's crazy. It's not communist. Just so you know, it starts at republic. Republic is very high on the list. Republic is, to date, and we're a republic is America, to date, republic is the highest level, and let's go with frequencies, okay? Vibrate, let's go with good positive vibes. Republic is the most freest form of government that we currently know of in history. Below that, you have democracy. Now, democracy is not a good thing. It's not a great, that's the whole 2 wolves, 1 sheep example. So if you had to vote what was for dinner, 2 wolves are going to vote 2-1 against a sheep, and the sheep's going to be eaten, okay? Democracy is if you allow the popular vote to win the election, which is a bad idea. So it's still better than other things, but it's below republic, democracy. Okay, below that, you have socialism. All right? This is what Bernie Sanders does a really good job at promoting, when in reality he's not actually a socialist, okay? Below socialist is communist, okay? Communist is the opposite end of a republic. And that's why our founding documents and our founders were so damn important, because they built a republic, okay? And now keep in mind, when we're talking about deep state and corruption and bankers, etc., and all around just like doing good things versus bad things, our founders were not perfect men. They were not perfect people, okay? They made a lot of mistakes. However, they came up with some really great documents that we should be fighting for hard every day. But republic, democracy, socialist, communist. Below that, I don't remember what level it is, but anarchy's in there as well. A lot of libertarians want to be anarchists. Anarchist is not a good form of population movement. Anarchy is complete no rules, no laws, and that's garbage too. We are tribal people. We need laws. We need morals. We need a moral code. We need ethics. We need a justice system, okay? You need an ethical justice system, but you still need a justice system. So anybody out there who wants to start promoting the whole anarchy thing, anarchy is garbage. There's a few people out there like the Kokeshas of the world and other libertarians who are all about anarchy, and anarchy is not a good thing, okay? But socialism goes into communism. So you might start off with socialist policies in California, but you're heading right into communism. And I believe anarchy was either in there or very close to or at the bottom of it, okay? It is not a good thing. You do not want socialism. You do not want communism. You do not want anarchy. You don't want democracy. You really want republic. Okay? Republic is the best form of government that we've so far found to this day. So, this is what I'm saying about California. President Trump is leaving the decisions to the states. And that is per the Constitution. I know a lot of people out there want him to override the whole system, and they're saying, do something, do something, do something. That's not his job to do something. His job, now, he may have powers after that he can implement to make something go correctly, but his job is to follow the Constitution, which is to allow the states to do what the states do. So, for example, America should not go bankrupt because California goes bankrupt. California wants to go bankrupt because they're stupid and they do dumb things within government and they don't spend their money wisely and they tax everybody to death. Then California should go bankrupt. Okay, now that should not hurt the people that are trying to do good things, but at the same time, it is what it is. Now, this is important because a lot of people do want the president to jump in and take over. Not his job to do that. Now, what I think is also happening is I think Newsom knows exactly what he's doing because he's got Pelosi in his ear, and amongst Schiff and everybody else. They're all California junk. They know that they have sanctuary cities. They want funding. Newsom just said he wants $1 trillion from the federal government to fund California. Absolutely not. This is exactly what happens when you're not taking care of your money and you're doing bad things in your state. This is just like a household. If you are spending money at an insane rate and racking up your credit cards, it is not anyone else's responsibility. It's not your parents' responsibility to come in and fix it for you. It's your responsibility to be responsible with your money. Proper financial work. Get your books right. Get your numbers right and do it, okay? That's what you should be doing. Now, this is also for the election. They want mail-in voting. Okay? They want mail-in voting. That's what they're trying to pull off. They will do their best to try to get no vote for the election. They want people to have to mail in their vote for the election because they're trying to push Biden into the win. Okay? Got it. Some people say that my audio is back and it's off. Okay, it's on your guys' end, so I will double check my stuff tonight and tomorrow for tomorrow's episode. But on my end, everything looks right. So I think it's just obviously either social media or the stream. And again, I will work on fixing that for you guys. Okay, if I can. I don't know if it's on my end. I'll double check. Also, they are going to try to pull the strings at the federal level with President Trump to see how much they can get away with, and they'll also try to get him to snap back and act against them. They're trying to give him a bad image going into the election. So, what do you do in California? Well, you're in a rough spot. Honestly, you're in a really, really rough spot. So, is anybody out there from California right now who is ready to protest, is ready to put groups together, is ready to put organization together, and is ready to go into whether it's Los Angeles, Sacramento, wherever it needs to be? And again, I don't know the areas well there, so if some of these are incorrect, I apologize. You can correct me. You guys are not going to last 3 months in lockdown. There are too many patriots in California who are not going to allow that to occur. Now, I want to explain a scenario to you that could happen. And I want you to be very, very aware of this. And I want you to also be prepared for this. So every single night, guys, I tell you bigger stuff is coming. And I think a lot of you at this point now, let me know. I think a lot of you at this point know that something is coming. There is more coming. This is going to be bigger. I still believe that there is military, and I messaged someone tonight about military being in cities because this little perfect storm could happen, which is now you have Los Angeles County down for 3 months. And yes, how are they supposed to survive? Right now off government. I don't know what else you guys do unless you go, and I mean, as much as I don't really trust Elon Musk right now, Maybe he's setting the stage for getting back to work and telling the authorities to screw off because they didn't go arrest him and they didn't fine him. Maybe you can jump on those tails and do something about it, but you're going to have to rise up. But this is the other issue. If past President Obama is indeed indicted in, say, the next week or two or the next month or two or whatever before the election, this is the other problem you have on your hands. And this is not just California, but this will be Sacramento, this will be LA, this will be San Diego, this will be New York City, this might be Houston, Texas, Miami, Florida. Not so much Miami, Florida, we're pretty safe, but Chicago. If he's indicted, crap literally could hit the fan in the cities. And this might be why they have the reserve, the National Guard, and the military sitting in there. And I will tell you, California will be one of the roughest areas, I believe, to be hit by not only the news, but also be in lockdown. So, obviously, military will do the best they can do to keep everything tight and under control. But you have to know that that scenario can happen. And what will happen is the media will make it look like an apocalypse is upon us. Because keep in mind, the deep state is fully behind past President Obama and Hillary Clinton and the DNC. So, not only California do you need to get yourselves back to work and get this back running, and other than protest, I will talk to some of my contacts and find out if there's other things you can do. But you have to make it known that this is unacceptable and that you, if you have to walk the streets or march the streets and make it happen, you're going to have to do that. Because I see other things happening, and there's really no reason why LA County would decide another 3 months when you have states all over the U.S. opening up. And quite honestly, I saw a map last night on Twitter that showed the Electoral College map of the election and then a map of right now of what states are opening and what states are not. And almost all of them, minus like maybe 2 or so, 3, are all deeply Democratic liberal states that are staying closed down. Everything else is red across the board. So Republican conservative areas are all opening up, and it's the Newsoms, it's the Cuomos, it's the Whitmers, it's the Chicagos, it's the all these ones, the liberal, insane people who are keeping them shut down. And if you don't think that's not a strategy against the current president, then you haven't learned enough in politics, because that's exactly what's going on. And on top of that, I still think that they're going to release something, whether it's another pandemic or they're going to release something, a scare event or false flags before the election. I still believe that they're going to actually do that. I don't want that to happen, but this is why you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for survival. You have to be prepared to, if you have to move states, you have to move states. You know, there's so many people to talk about, they can't move. When your life and your family's life are at risk, you have to move. It is what it is. I will just tell you, let me give you a little disclaimer from the state of Florida. If you are from California and you believe in these draconian laws, or if you're from Illinois, or if you're from the Minnesotas of the world or the New Yorks of the world, and you believe these draconian laws, do not come to Florida. Do not come to Texas. Do not come to Nevada. Do not come to the red states and try to change our states, because we will throw your asses right back out. Okay? We are not putting up with you guys. This is the beauty of individual states being tied together in a republic. If you like liberal laws and liberal mindset, then go to your own state, spend your own money there, have your own rules. Do not try to change everything across the board. If you're in a conservative state, we have our rules. If you're in a liberal state, go ahead and do that. Keep it up. Do not push it on us. And on top of that, this is also where the Supreme Court comes in. Do not take your ridiculous measures and your ridiculous lifestyles and everything else you want and take them to the Supreme Court and make it a federal law of the land. That is not how it's supposed to work. So I'm going to go into two very, very controversial areas. And before I go into these, I want to let you know I am not anti-gay. I am not anti-lesbian. I'm not anti-LGBTQ. It's not the lifestyle I believe is correct, but I'm not. I would not do anything against you. I will treat you like a human being. I will treat you with class, with equality. Everything's cool. I also do not believe in abortion unless it's something completely absolute extreme, where a mother might die or something along those lines. But I will tell you this. If you are for those things, do not go to my Supreme Court and make those a federal law across the board, because two things. One, you do not get to dictate your morals to the entire country. It is not the Supreme Court's job to do that. You're violating the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court they should have never, ever, ever, okay, I'm going to get beat up for this, don't care. They should have never passed gay marriage. Now, again, if you want to, with your own contract, go get married to whoever you want, you are perfectly fine in your state to do that. I have respect for all. I have family members who are gay. I have friends who are gay. They're married. I treat them with perfect equality in class, and I love them just like I love any other human being or family or friend. However, when it comes to laws, the federal government and the Supreme Court should not. They have no right to make those rules. And honestly, those should be null and void, because the state makes those rules. So if you live in California and you want to have gay marriage, go for it. Make it a state law. It is not federal law, though. It's not even, you shouldn't even be in federal law with that. It's the same with abortion. If you want some sort of abortion measure in your state, you go do what you want all day. That is not a constitutional measure, nor is gay marriage. So gay marriage, abortion, healthcare, not part of constitutional law, not part of constitutional rules, should not even be talked about in the Supreme Court. Okay? That's how it's supposed to work. If you want to get married to somebody, I don't care if you want to get married to a gray alien. Okay? Go for it. Be happy. Do whatever you need to do. However, that should be a contract between you and a gray alien, whatever rules they follow, and you can do that in your own state. But do not go up and make a constitutional or a Supreme Court law or anything like that to say that we have to accept it across the world, across the country. That is not what the rule of law is for. That is not what the Constitution was meant for, and that's not what the Supreme Court is supposed to be doing. Okay, that's not at all what they're supposed to be doing. So I wasn't even planning on ranting on those topics, but I went for it. So my whole point is that we are a nation of laws and rules. And as human beings, we are never, in my personal opinion, we are never to judge or harm another human being and make them wrong for whatever lifestyle. Like, again, people are equal, all right? You treat them with class. You treat them with dignity, even if you don't agree with them or their lifestyle. However, when it comes to rule of law, we're an entirely different game. Okay, you do not get to dictate to me how we're supposed to live our world. You keep that in your own area, and I'll keep my stuff in my own area. Okay, because that becomes, at that point, now it becomes a moral and ethical issue. And the things I teach my child, the things you teach your kids, should not be pushed against because someone else has an agenda, because they want to have some crazy agenda. That's why we're teaching kids about sex at like 4 years old and masturbation and all this complete. And if you don't know about that, go Google the WHO and children's sex and masturbation. And you'll actually get an article, I think, from Breitbart, where it actually says the WHO wants to implement new guidelines to teach kids about sex and to teach 4-year-olds about masturbation. Yes, that is what the WHO is doing. And so that is completely insane, and it's immoral. And if you think that's okay, then you need to rethink how your world is lived, because it's disgusting, it's gross, and it's one of the many reasons our nation is in the spot it's in right now, is because we've allowed this corruption and garbage into not only our moral fiber, our ethical fiber, and our minds. And I will be damned if we allow our kids to be drugged with this basically disgusting, horrible, parasitic, cancerous mindset that is put into there. We must go back to good values, traditions, morals, ethics. That's how we get back to it, okay? I hope that helps. I will take maybe a question or two. Maybe a question or two I will take, because I ranted longer than I thought I would, but you guys say you like rants, so I went for it, okay? Let's see. I haven't posted that WHO article yet, just because I didn't want to put a bunch of garbage up there, but yeah, you can go Google it. It's not hard to find, or DuckDuckGo it. Let's see. I know I'm a little behind you guys. You're a little behind me on where I am right now in what I'm saying. So, couple questions. I'll take the first two good questions that I see. I know you guys are getting kicked off. I'm going to work on that. Let's see. Contact tracing, unconstitutional. I spoke on contact tracing. It's unconstitutional, so you need to find out what's going on with it. I'm going to go over HR 6666, just not tonight. I'll go over it the next 2 nights. Of course, public schools are going to want your kids COVID vaccinated. Complete garbage. That's why homeschooling is going to kick up a lot. Sarah Outlaw. Sarah, you and I we think logically, and we think common sense wise, and so we sometimes have trouble when people seem to say things that are completely illogical, and we don't do good with it. So we're on the same page. If you're one of those people right now, if you're sitting out there watching this and you think the world has gone completely insane and you're the only sane person going and you can't figure out why they don't understand common sense and logic, don't worry. You're amongst family tonight. Okay? We're all the same way. I'm the same way as you are. I have to check myself every day I walk out into society because they've gone loco. So we need to put our morals and ethics back in, our laws back in, to get them back to where they're supposed to be, okay? But this is how we regain our nation. Okay. Let's see. I have a new patient coming in that's on here on Friday. That's cool. I'm excited. Okay, one last question. I answered one. Let me do one more and then we'll get off. Best state to move in. That's a good question. I'm going to answer that, okay? There are many states to move to. However, I have 3 that I know are probably the best in the top 3. Now you're going to say places like North Dakotas and the Idahos, and they're cool places and they're absolutely more conservative. But I don't look at it based on just conservative. I have a couple different things I look at. And the reason I live in Florida, I want conservative values only because it's traditional typically. And conservative values typically are smart with money. And so I want that. But I also want my daughter not going to school with a bunch of crazy people or being around a bunch of crazy people. Sorry, I'm a little, you may call that like I'm picking her out from the crowd. But guess what? We live in a world now where we have to watch our kids very closely, and I don't want them taking in the garbage that other kids are taking in. So it is what it is. The other biggest thing is income taxes, okay? So I live in Florida. We do not have state income tax. So meaning we pay federal, but we don't pay any state tax. It's taken care of here by tourism, okay? The other 2 are Texas, which also doesn't have one, and then there's also Nevada. Okay, a couple of my friends live in Nevada. They love it. No state income tax. But also, those 3 states are, you can carry a weapon. So I am fully behind that because I am pro Second Amendment. And I believe if more people were responsible with guns and knew how to handle them, you have a safer environment. Okay, so those are the 3 reasons. Florida, Texas, and Nevada. Now, if something happened in Florida, where would I go? Well, hopefully nothing happens here. We're going to fight if it does. But I wouldn't go to Nevada because my wife thinks it's too damn hot because, yes, we're hot here, but we have humidity here. In Nevada, it's bake yourself hot, meaning it feels like you're sitting in an oven. So the only place that I would go before I left the country completely, which that would take it would take a cold day in hell that would happen, because I'm going to fight to this place till it goes down. But I would go to Texas. Texas is probably number one from a standpoint of still good climate. And Texas is just, they're their own country, man. They got it. Tennessee is also very good. I have a lot of friends in Tennessee. But that's why I would pick Florida or Texas. So, guys, I hope that was good. I hope you received value from this tonight. Same thing as always. Be prepared. Go help somebody. Go take care of somebody. Be well. I will go check for audio and visual stuff to make sure everything is good on my end, and we'll work on this to make it better for you guys. So I'm sorry if you get knocked off. Hang back, and when we go to the website and it goes onto the new network, you won't have these issues at all, okay? So, Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, signing off. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Take good care of yourself. Be well, and go be kind and nice to someone today, even if you live in California and even if you live in Los Angeles County. Go up, shake Governor Newsom's hand, tell him, we're sorry you're like you are, but could you do me a favor and just be nice for once, and tell your aunt, crazy lady, to go jump on a spaceship and get sent to some crazy planet somewhere else so that we never have to see her again, and just say, please smarten up and run your state better. I'll see you guys later.